Good morning, children. Well, it's nearly Christmas, not too far to go. Bet you're all getting excited. I am. I love Christmas. I have a story for us today, and it's about this. It's about money. It's important money, isn't it? We all need it to live and survive and to buy things and to have food and clothing and to keep warm. It's important. But we have to know how important. We have to know where the importance finishes. Now, there's a verse in the Bible which I think one day you'll probably hear somebody quote and they get it wrong. And I want you to be able to put them right, okay? What you'll hear them saying is, money is the root of all evil. That's right as far as it goes, but they've missed something out. And that's the important part. Now it comes from 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 10. And this is it. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evils. Right? And that's the important bit. The love of it. And what people will do to get it. What they'll do to get it. My dad used to have a saying. And it was, son, it's made round to go round. Okay, you've got to give some over here, you've got to give some over there, and you've got to help out to that what person in the far over there. Made round to go round. Don't think it's all just for you and you're going to keep tight hold of it. The Bible's got all sorts of instructions for it. It's so wise. God wrote it. And I just want to read this little passage to you now about where we should store up our wealth, or where we should think of putting our wealth. It's Matthew chapter 6 verses 19 to 21. Just listen to this. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Now, I'm not saying money's a bad thing. I'm trying to help you to understand how to value it. For example, there's great examples of people who've been wonderful with their wealth. For example, just down the road in Port Sunlight, Lord Leverhulme. He built houses for his workers. He didn't have to. There was gardens with the houses. Amazing in the middle of the 19th century. He built bowling greens, cinemas, hospital facilities, schools. He believed that a happy workforce would be working for him better if they lived in good conditions. And he was a fine example, and he built what was thought to be the biggest church in Wirral when it was built in Port Sunlight. He was a Christian man. He was a man of faith. So there's examples of us how to handle money. But now I want to go to an example of us where I hope we can learn a lesson. And I'm going to be dressing myself as a man called John. And John is a coal miner in Lancashire. Good morning, everyone. I'm off to work today. I work in St Helens in a pit, and I've been working there ever since I was 14. Do you know, it's hard work. Oh, the boss makes me work so hard, and the more coal I dig, the more I get paid. But anyway, it keeps me warm, and I have enough to live on, enough food, and I've got a roof over my head, and I bought the paper. I'll have a read of it as I'm walking along the road to work today. It says on the headlines, Gold Rush in Australia. It says it's in New South Wales, and a man called Edward Hargraves has discovered gold, and he's named the village Ophir, O-P-H-I-R. Now I remember that name because in the Bible, King Solomon had a fleet of ships, and every 3 years they returned with gold from Ophir. So Edward Hargreaves must have known his Bible. And also, it says, the biggest ever one single piece of gold has been named the leg of mutton. And it weighed 134 pounds. Now that's the weight of a child. Gosh, I'd never need to work again. I'd never need to go to that mine and go underground and work me socks off. I could be rich, I could retire. I'd never need to work again. I'm going to Australia. I'm going to go to Liverpool. I'm going to ask, when's the next ship going to Sydney in Australia? And when you get to Sydney, it's 180 miles west. The central Australian tablelands. I'll find it. If there's gold there, I'll find it. I will.
Well, how did our coal miner go on in Australia? Probably he did find gold. There was gold to be found. It wasn't illegal. It was allowed to be done. The population of Australia boomed. In 1851, 430,000. 1871, 1.7 million. Now the thing was to get the gold back to the UK, and what they did was to tie great big bags round to their leather straps on their waist and never let that out of their sight. At night when they slept, they would keep the belt on, keep the gold with them in case anybody broke into the cabin to pinch the gold. To return to the UK, they returned to Sydney, and it happened that there was a brand new ship arrived. It was the Royal Charter. She was state of the art. She was a clipper, a steam clipper. She had steam engines. Clippers were very fast. They had huge amounts of sail. They had an excellent return voyage and round the base of the bottom of Africa, up the west coast of Africa, into the Irish Sea, until they got to Anglesey. And then the crew came to the captain and said, "Captain, we've never seen a barometer reading so low. We should put into port to Holyhead for safety." "No," said the captain, Thomas Taylor. "Carry straight on to Liverpool. This ship can cope with anything." Big mistake. It was force 10. The winds were over 100 miles an hour. And this is a true story. The people on Anglesey could see the ship in trouble. They knew no ship should be sailing in that weather. The storm increased to force 12. It was a hurricane, very unusual in British waters. The ship was going down. Here's the big decision. What do they do with that gold, weighing them down? Do they jump in, try to swim with the gold? Sad to say, most of the people on that ship, the Royal Charter, valued the gold more than they did their own lives. Of the 371 passengers, only 21 made it to the island, and of the 112 crew, only 18. The love of money. Money's valuable, but there's things far more valuable. I'm sure those people who didn't make it to the island had family and friends who valued and needed them back home again. Money's important, but let's get it right. Thank you.